Hey guys! Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to access and implement Eureka math curriculum into your homeschool. So I've been sharing a little bit on my Instagram page of why we're switching from Primary Mathematics 2022 update. It's a great curriculum, it's really engaging, it just requires a lot of extra pieces to implement, and there's some issues with the curriculum where it's unnecessarily confusing for my child, and we've compared some parts to Eureka Math with the same type of lesson, and to me and other moms it just seems more fluid, more in-depth, and just a deeper learning of math, which is great. So what I'm showing you here, it's all free. It's a free curriculum, which is great if you're trying to get away from paying for curriculum, and it's a solid curriculum. So usually if you search for free stuff, it's kind of like, I don't really think that's great. This is actually a really good curriculum. We're in grade 1, and we're doing module 6 right now. So you create an account, it's all free, and then when you get into the teacher edition, we're doing module 6, like I said. There's just a lot of information, and it's not easy on the eyes for me. I don't really particularly like reading. I know I have to read, but there's just a lot of stuff here. One of the aspects I don't really like is this this dialogue type of reading. So this kind of trips me up because I'm like, I want to say exactly what they're saying, but he's not responding in that way, and it just doesn't really go as fluid as I would like. So I felt a little overwhelmed with this. You don't have to do everything, but of course you kind of want to do everything, especially when you're coming from a curriculum where you feel like you're having to make up. But there's just a lot of stuff in here, and I just felt a little overwhelmed. So I Googled how to implement Eureka Math into your homeschool. And I came across a website that basically said, of course, read the lessons and make sure that you're preparing well before, obviously. But she also mentioned to get the slides. So I actually purchased one lesson of slides from the website that she suggested, the Teacher Pay Teachers account that she suggested. However, I just felt like I don't want to pay for something that's free, right? I don't want to pay for slides to implement a curriculum that I already have access to that's free. So I just bought this one lesson for $3. However, the whole year bundle is $125. And to me, I just don't feel comfortable paying $125 to implement, a curriculum that's free. So there's nothing wrong with these. If you want to pay for them, great. They did look really good. They break down the teacher guide in a very readable way by each slide. So I was planning on just doing one of these just to see how I could get it up under my belt and get comfortable with it. So that was my plan. And then another mom that I follow on Instagram shared YouTube videos from this person called Embark Online. He has a name, and I'll show you. So this site's super organized by grade and then module. So we'll go to module 6. It does have a lot of ads, but it's free information, so naturally it would. But it's really well organized. So he gives you the essentials, the downloadable resources, which is everything that you get from the Great Mind site, your application problems, and then application problems with space for student work, and the TTS QR codes, which I'm not sure what TTS is, but it looks like this. So again, these are free. I even saw some of these, like a workbook that was you pay for on Teacher Pay Teachers. Alright, then we come down to some more information here. They have online math manipulatives, and then he has everything organized by lesson. So here's one of the video tutorials on YouTube embedded in here. And then he also has the lesson PDF, which is from the teacher guide, and he has free slides. So how awesome is this? Same thing is broken down. He has a icon legend to tell you what they mean, and then he breaks down the parts of the teacher guide. So super easy to use, super organized. He even has the time up here, and just very detailed. You have your materials down here in the notes. Just very helpful. I really, really love this. Okay, and I also want to show you another part of this website that's really cool. So you have all the grades up here, but you also have this general tab. And under here, it takes you home, it takes you to About Embark, it takes you to Eureka Math Curriculum, Resources, Standards, Other Resources, Virtual Manipulatives, and Frequently Asked Questions. So if we click on About, again, we've got ads, but it's okay. It just kind of tells you where these people are from, who created it, and they have a community, and it tells you what you can do. So as a guest, you can download all materials. You can read through everything, but if you have a free account, you can also contribute ideas, links, and resources in the faculty lounge, and you can post questions. So it's kind of like a community for Eureka Math. And if you contribute as an editor, you can meet with math coaches and assist in the overall creation and maintenance of this website. So if you're super into Eureka Math, you can do that. And then we have frequently asked questions here and their contact information. And then under the Eureka Math Curriculum, under General, there's some even more cool web resources here. And when it loads, I will show you. Alright, so it has grade K through 5, which is a story of units, and it breaks it down by modules per grade. And then here it breaks down by quarters or trimesters, and it gives you a color coding explanation of what each module is about. So like if you want to say, well, when are fractions introduced here? We see they're not introduced until 3rd grade. And if we want to know when is, let's see, geometry, we've got some here. Numbers and quantities and modeling, that goes all the way through 4th grade. So just to give you like a better overview, you could print this out and have it as a checklist, whatever you want to use it for. Alright, and then here we have some links, a curriculum overview, how to implement this, the checklist for standards, and the progression. And this is a handout for training on how the Eureka model grows and changes from kindergarten through 5th grade. And guides for customizing, omitting, and condensing lessons. So I thought this was really cool, especially for homeschool, because it seems like there's so much to do. So maybe you could look at that. Short advice on pacing your daily lesson. More advice on how to pace Eureka Math to meet all of your students or student. How to fit your lessons into a 60-minute block. How to teach a lesson in 39 minutes. And a 7-minute video on the K through 3rd progression of addition and subtraction. And then it goes on to grade 6 through 12, but it doesn't really have those extra resources. So I just kind of want to explore these with you guys because I think they're super cool. You could go look at them yourself, but basically most of it is going to be what you download from Eureka. So the story of units is from the curriculum. So here it's saying that I need to request access. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And see if they give it to me. See if I can access other things. Okay, so all of this is from the curriculum, the checklist. So I don't think it's anything different. It's just organized, easier for you to find it. Okay, so yeah, some of these are not giving me access to. I'll see, maybe they'll see that and see. But this is what I was mostly interested in, the guides for customizing, omitting, and condensing lessons. So let's go to grade 1 under Eureka Essentials. So this looks like what is essential to learn from the curriculum. I would use this to go back and review some of the things that we already did in primary math and just to see where he's at. But she tells you how to read it, so you get an overview of the model, basic materials of the model, model lesson concept, steps, and here are the suggestions for omission or consolidating of lessons if pacing is a challenge, and the problems suggested for checking understanding, so you don't have to do all of them, and repeating the identified lesson for the new concept. Key ideas to highlight in the lesson, review or reinforce of identified lessons or skills, links to additional free resources for the lesson, and connections to other lessons in purple text. Alright, so let's check this out. So then she gives you how to approach pacing. So cover all major cluster standards more thoroughly and move through other standards more quickly. Use lesson connections in purple text to foresee when and how certain concepts will be revisited and further developed in later lessons. Embed reteaching into the next lesson's activities, fluency practice, application problems, concept development, etc., rather than repeat a prior lesson when formative assessments indicate lack of student understanding. So I really like that part. Teaching while you're in the next lesson what they missed last time. Omit or differentiate lessons labeled review, reinforce based on students' strengths and needs. Follow suggestions for omission or consolidation of lessons labeled cut, consolidate based on students' strengths and needs. Alright, so she used the Great Minds Eureka Math Teacher Edition, California Common Core State Standards, and Mathematics Frameworks for California Public Schools, Kindergarten through 12. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to look at the document outline, and I'm going to go to Module 6. Alright, so she gives you the key ideas, the materials, and we're here with topic A. So she gives you resources and what we're comparing with difference unknown word problems. And here she shows us we're building on Module 4, Lesson 20 to solve word problems that involve finding an unknown difference by using linking cubes, linear models, tape diagrams, or number lines and equations. So I really like this because the whole thing's only 63 pages. I could print this and use this instead of using the teacher guide. It has color and it's easy to read, and you can kind of, like you said, consolidate or condense the lesson instead of trying to go through each lesson. So here's an example of cut consolidate. You can omit topic E because recognizing and identifying coins, their names and their value is not part of California grade 1 standards. So I'm not in California, so I wouldn't omit something just because it's not in the California grade 1 standards. At grade 1, I do want my son to recognize and identify coins and their names and their values, but we already did this in primary math, so I don't need to do it here. So this is more so if you want to follow a certain standard. But it's still great information, so I'm still going to use it for that purpose. Let's see if we can find another consolidate. Sure, I skipped one. Okay, so it seems like that's the only one. So I guess in California in grade 2, that's when they want you to know the coins, but I feel like he's already interested in money and that shouldn't be something you should hold back. But alright, so I'm not seeing a lot of, here we go. Topic F, can consolidate or omit lessons 28 through 29. Let's see. So 28 is adding 2-digit numbers and 29 is adding 2-digit numbers continued. So I don't know if I would cut it out, but maybe consolidate it, just because they're basically saying it's going to be built on later. But I think this is really helpful. It's a kind of another teacher guide, and again, it goes from, what grades do we have? For K through 5th. And then this math collective, I'm not sure what this is, but let's just look at it. First grade, engage in wise support. So let's look at this. Module 6 again. Alright, so they've got summer math resources. I've got a calendar, the fluency sprints, and first grade summer math, another calendar. So let's look at this one. Alright, so week 1, use your ruler, draw a square. Each side of the square should measure 6 centimeters. Show different ways to divide a square of its size into 2 equal parts. Okay, so this is cool. You could just kind of do one thing every day for the summer. Play target practice 9 and 10. Use real coins or draw coins to show as many ways to make 25 cents as you can. Complete a sprint. So those are cool summer activities. And then we have the fluency sprint, which is from the Eureka math. And this is another calendar, but it seems, oh, okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so that's cool. Summer ideas that you can do. And then we have the pacing guide for module 1 through 6. This looks like it's also from, Eureka math. So you can skip lesson 2, replace with lesson 2A. So this is another type of pacing guide. I like the other one better, but at least it's there as an option. And other resources. Let's see what other resources they have. Revised end of Module 6 assessment. Module 6 tips for parents of Eureka. Flip, build, compare. Looks like a game. Equal sign and inequality, sign, invention, and meaning. Some centers. And lesson 2, comparison word problems. Okay, so this looks interesting. My son kind of struggled with the equal sign. So I think this would be cool to use to give him a better understanding of what it means. Yeah, so that's cool. Okay, so we've got some extra resources here. Inquiry lessons. Let's see what this is. These look like some lesson plans. Let's see. Alright, these are for centers, so I don't know if I would use these in homeschool. When I hear centers, I feel like there's multiple kids doing multiple things at the same time. But I do like these questions that you can ask. So something to look at if you think that would be helpful. So far, I really like that other condensed teacher guide. So here they're explaining what they have here. This is more for teachers in my opinion, but it looks cool. that's from the Math Collective. I've never heard of them before. And then we have Great Minds, which I think is going to be what we've all already seen if you're using this. This is a pacing and preparation guide. So it's preparing and teach a model, outlines the process for understanding the instructional sequence of the module, a vital foundation for making decision about pacing. Okay. Preparing to teach a lesson outlines a process for customizing a lesson to fit daily time constraints and unique needs of students. Alright, so this probably is in the teacher guide also. So it just gives you steps. Yeah, I've seen this before. But I like that, and the other one is already done for you, right? Here's the lesson plan format. This is typically how a lesson might flow. So it's like a weekly lesson planner. Choose 2 per day: fluency activity from teacher edition, application, number talk, or fluency games. So you'd only do 2 per day. And then concept development, choose your 3 or 4 examples, solve them here. What key phrases might you use during this time? And identify M, C's, and E's. What will be your debrief questions? Must-dos, could-dos, extensions. Okay, so that's pretty cool if you need help planning a lesson. What else have we got? So they break down the time limits. Alright, so that's pretty helpful. With pacing and guides. So they've got short advice on pacing. Don't do all the fluency activities listed, only choose 1, perhaps 2. Do not turn the application problem into a teachable moment. This is the time for students to practice using their brain. Be efficient with the concept development, aim for 20 minutes maximum. Limit the time students do the independent practice, only to 10 to 15 minutes. So it's time-based. So you could use a timer. The night before, the teacher should decide which problems the must-do, could-do extension, and save at least 5 to 10 minutes for student debrief time. Now the question is, what do I do with my students who are struggling and need an extra day with this concept? Here they say move to the next lesson anyway. The lessons are very incremental from one lesson to the next. If a student doesn't understand lesson 4, move on to lesson 5 because it's likely the student will suddenly have an aha moment in that lesson rather than in lesson 4. This is very different than mentally than what teachers are familiar with. Okay, so they're just telling you to move on. So that could be helpful for some of us too. 60 minutes I don't have, so let's look at the 39-minute lesson. So here's how I teach each lesson components, and he breaks it down. Exit ticket and debrief, he skips it, and homework. So really you're focusing on fluency, application problem. He does skip the application problem on some days. And breaks it down by each thing, so that's interesting. And then there's a video here, which we don't have to watch obviously, but that's something you can watch. I'm interested in it because my son's in 1st grade and we've been doing this since kindergarten, so I'll go back and watch that. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all that I wanted to show you, but you guys can check this website out. I think it's super helpful when trying to implement this, especially if it seems a little daunting. But yeah, so this seems like it's based on California. They have some number talks here, reading fluency through games, growing database of additional resources, vocabulary cards. Okay, that looks cool. High zero cards, images, solving word problems using tape diagram, tech support, credits where we begged and borrowed from, and virtual manipulatives. That's cool. Pattern blocks, 10 frames, protractor, algebra tiles, the Recneric, which I just bought one. So yeah, those are pretty cool. Experimental stuff, ignore this. Okay, we're gonna ignore that. So yeah, I kind of want to look at this rebuilding fluency through games. Okay, so I'm assuming this is free. Nice, so this is free on here. It has games. Waddle Waddle Splat, Outer Space Chase, Cover Up, Gone Fishing, Under the Rug, What's My Number, Scoop-Dee-Doo, Tic-Tac-Toe, 3 in a row. So all of these look really cool. So it looks like you'd print these and cut them out. I love the graphics. Alright, so that's interesting, and that's free, so I'll definitely be using those. We've got some Eureka math card games here. Okay, that one can't be found. Here's a multiplication game for older kids. So yeah, I like that. I'm glad I kept exploring. So yeah, just go in here and see what's interesting to you. There's a lot of stuff that would be great, and you don't have to pay for any of it. So I just felt like, who could beat that, right? You've got games, you've got teacher guides, you've got tons of practice. I love the vocabulary cards. Let's see what these look like. Okay, vocabulary cards here. Let's find first grade. Here we go. So we've got important notes. So yeah, these are nice. Add in, identitive property, alike. Really cool. Okay, so I'm for sure going to use the vocabulary cards because Eureka Math has some hard vocabulary words, I should say. And I'm interested in this last one, and then everything else is the stuff will go here. Okay. Alright, so I hope that gives you guys a good idea of the awesome stuff that's on here, and everything that you can use. I will definitely be using this. And I hope that I was able to help you guys find another cool resource. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Alright, bye.